Welcome to SBA Today for the week of July 30th, where our motto is likely helpful, definitely entertaining. And before we get into stories, I did not call you Tanya, but we are literally matching the same color. What's up with that?
Sometimes we just get it right. Or should I say, sometimes you get it right, Paul.
That's true. That's true. Because you just got lucky. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Here's the funny thing. I think I'm running out of clothes to be different every single time. I think we need to talk Ray Drew into finding us a clothing sponsor that says, "Hey, Tanya,
Ooh,
wear this."
I like that. Are you listening, Ray?
Anyway,
what are we talking about today?
Well, get ready. Small business loan losses will be higher than the last 10 years. Yeah, it's happening, guys. We got new 2025 fees and per business by sale. Sellers are more willing to offer seller financing and earnouts. That's a big deal, dude.
Yeah. But first, I'm going to share a story. So on this last Thursday, I was at my brother, who is a dentist over in Vancouver, Washington. Shout out to Pickens Family Dentistry. They had an open house. They had for his new dental practice that he moved locations for. Great turnout. There was a ton of people there. And I know that all of us have been to chamber events where you're always there. There's a lot of people, but there's always what I call the chamber groupies. They're the same people that show up for every single ribbon cutting, no matter what. And it's funny. I don't care where you go, you got the groupies. Okay.
Oh my God.
And then there was actually two other bankers there. And I'm like, well, of course, makes sense. And what was interesting is, they weren't very social, and clearly I'm kind of a social butterfly.
No.
And so, I went over and said hi, had some good conversations with them and all that. But what's interesting is when you're in an environment like that, and regardless if this was my brother or not, but when you're in an environment like that, how do you set yourself apart when you're mixed with other bankers? Okay. So I'm going to share with you a sales tip that has probably been one of the most critical pieces of my success. And it's going to sound so ridiculously simple, but it works every time. And I challenge you all to do it. Here it is. Okay.
All right.
Offer to help.
What?
Not just asking the business owner, hey, do you need any help?
Yeah.
No, because what's their first response going to be? No, I'm good. Thank you. I got it all under control. Life is great. But guess what? Deep down inside, chaos. If you've ever ran an event, chaos is always happening. Okay. So I'll look at them and I'll be like, no. I'm serious. What can I do to help you? Anything. You want me to clean tables? You want me to do whatever? In this case, this was my brother. And I said, no, what do you want me to do? And he's like, can you grill? Hell yeah, I'll grill. First of all, I love grilling because it's super fun. But the second thing is I was wearing my Giza shirt. I was out there. But I'm sitting there cooking burgers and serving burgers in my Giza gear. I'm helping out, but I'm also promoting at the same time. Did any of those other bankers have any other opportunities that I had one-on-one with every single attendee, because every single attendee ate? So to have that quick, hey, how you doing? What do you work for? It's brilliant because it's so simple. Not only are you doing something good for the business owner, but you're actually meeting and networking others as well. So another thing is offer them to help clean up. Look around and think about what needs to be done on an event. And guess what? Go do it. You see a table that hasn't been cleaned up or whatever, go clean it. Right. Those little things like that, not only will the person that you're there for appreciate that, but you will stand out in such a big way. So go be a hero.
And hero, that's awesome. But what I hear you saying is you're standing at the grill saying, hey, can I get you a burger, a hot dog, or a loan?
Or an SBA loan, right? That's
That's
right.
what I'm hearing. Hey, that works,
Right? I'm telling you, it
Awesome.
works really well. So
And I think that's a great one, Paul. And you know what? In service in general, I mean, that's what we all are is in service. So that's just
true.
adding to it. So good for you. I like
Yeah.
it. I like it. Awesome. Well, okay, let's move on to some of the news. And the next one that we're going to talk about is just regarding sellers and sellers being more willing now to offer financing and earnouts to accommodate high rates, right? As the business for sale markets adjust to today's high interest rates. No, high interest rates really here? No. Seller accommodated deal structures have been more common. Banks also have tightened their lending. Now, we've all seen that, right? They've tightened their lending standards. Small and deal structures have become a little bit, more common to work out with sellers. So anyway, banks have tightened their lending. Small businesses more sensitive to higher rates, higher borrowing costs. All that kind of creates the fact that the seller needs to step in and do a little bit. And I think they're trying to do that now, right? Yep. Leaves the sellers in the position of getting comfortable with structuring the deal. All right. They never used to. I remember specifically, it used to be a challenge just to get the smallest 5%, maybe 10% seller carry. Now, I mean, they're going up to 50% at times, to work with borrowers with both financing and earnouts, whereby the seller must earn part of the purchase price. I personally think that's great. I mean, it's part of it. Like, are you going to perform? Can the business perform like I said it could? They're getting earnouts to make sure that is what happens, right? Yep. So anyway, deal structure shifted to reflect less senior debt appetite. True. Means more seller financing, a lot more earnouts for the borrower than before, or for the seller than before. The biggest shift is the quantity and volume of the earnouts in the deal, which is, like I said, the 50% in recent cases is what we've seen, right? Yeah. Anyway, Sam Sherrick, I think I'm saying that name right, from Buy Side. He's a Buy Side director at Calder Capital, is the one that's providing some of this information. He also gave us some actual statistics, basically, right? So 24% of owners are now saying they'll consider seller financing. 24%. I mean, that was 21% last year. I'll bet you if we went back a few years prior to that, it was down in the single digits. 44% say that they will not offer it versus 51% last year. Among the sellers that are open to offering the financing, 23% are willing to go as high as 50%. Now, I have never seen that.
Really?
It's recent. No, I mean recent. Yeah. But meaning prior, that just wasn't the case.
Sure.
Anyway, and the good news for buyers, 65% of whom consider the seller financing either extremely or very important. So that's the good news for the buyers, basically, because they consider it important. Anyway, Katrina Lofton, founder and managing partner of M&A Business Advisors, explains we are seeing a lot of buyers asking for 10 to 20% of seller financing with rates lower than the SBA rate. Now, I mean, that's great for all involved, right? The buyer's being quoted this price, and it relieves some of the pain with rates that the sellers are obliging the borrowers basically for those lower rates in order to help them out, because it's pricey right now, guys. What can we do? It's pricey. We all admit it. Anyway, for me, there's a lot of good things around this. I mean, I think seller financing in general creates not only, helping the borrower when it comes to maybe the equity injection if they're carrying it for a couple of years, with no interest and or no payments at all, right? So not only does it help them in that respect, not only does it help them if they can get a better deal as far as the rates and whatnot than SBA and banks can offer. In addition, it helps them with the strength, because how I see it, that seller's not going anywhere, right? It's not like they can just sell their business, walk away, good luck to you, pal, and be done with it. They have money still on the line. So they are more inclined and more likely to step in and help that borrower do what they said could be done with that business. So I like that. I think it helps the deal. It strengthens everything.
I 100%. I mean, when I look at deals that I get from brokers and that type of stuff, and they say, no seller financing, I'll go back to the broker and be like, you just cut your pool down. Like, you really they need to understand that, because if you're not willing to offer some sort of seller financing, what do you got hiding in the closet? Like you have to take some risk on selling this.
Well, and oftentimes it is those brokers that I mean, I get it. They're wanting to get their deals done, and they're wanting to get it done as well as possible. And it's likely higher commission for them and whatnot, right? If the loan amount is more, and maybe so even with banks and bankers that aren't really talking about this. For me, though, if you're in service, like I know you are, Paul, just like you said with your grill, right? If you're in service to that borrower, you are trying to make everything more compatible, easier, and whatnot for the borrower above and beyond yourself, the broker, anybody else, right? So that's our customer. So be in service.
Absolutely.
And be the hero, like Paul said.
Right. Be the hero. That's the theme of today. Be the hero.
Absolutely. So what we got next, Paul?
All right. So we got the big news came out yesterday. We got fees for 2025. And I was kind of curious what they were going to do. I had I think a few episodes back, I threw out, and I think Tanya threw out a few as well, ideas. And interesting news, we were both wrong. But here we go. So, annual servicing fees, there's going to be 3 trenches. So you got 500 and less is 0. Okay. Then you got 500 to $1 million is 0.17. And then $1 million to $5 million is 0.55 that we're used to. So you got that new little 500 to 1 million 0.17, which is a little bit interesting. And then we go into the main fees. Under $1 million stays at 0. I thought they would bring down the $1 million.
I think, didn't you and I both say we thought it was going to come down to 750?
750 was exactly. Yep. Yeah. So they did that. But then they did something I got to admit I'm not a huge fan of. And that is for over $1 million up to $5 million, they did the full gamut, which is the 3.5 up to 1 million and then 3.75 they're over. Okay, SBA administration, you want small loans. We picked up on that. Cool. But remember, big loans too also play a part into that. And I think especially that $1 million to $2 million kind of thing. I would have really liked to see them did do something in that little thing, then go right for the gusto at over $1 million, because I think that is going to hurt lenders and borrowers really, because I mean that's a pretty meaty fee.
Well, check it out. Here's what they did, right? If it's let's say it's the 2 million, right? It's not just the fee from $1 million and above, where nobody else is getting the fee if it's under $1 million, right? They're not getting a fee.
Right.
But if you go to $1.05 million, if you go to 2 million, not only are you getting the fee for above $1 million, you're getting the fee for below $1 million. I'm like,
So guess what's gonna happen? Any large dollar amount is going to happen really, really soon. So clear your pipelines of your large deals because it's going to be kind of at least in that bracket. And then it's also interesting from our servicing folks that you may have a 750 loan that you're going to have no upfront SBA fee, but then you will have an annual servicing fee of 0.17. So, and most people aren't trained to think that way. So it should be interesting. And then of course, Veteran Express is anything under $1 million is still 0. So unfortunately, there is still no really special benefit for veterans.
I was just fixing to say, I mean, why even split that? Why even split that out when it's
called politics?
It's like the same as the other. All right.
I know, right? So, so get your mid-size loans booked as soon as possible. So that's your takeaway.
Yep.
What's our third one, Tanya?
Wow. The third is, let's see here. Over the next 12 months, we should expect small business loan credit losses to be 38% higher than the average for the prior 10 years. And you know what, Paul? Go ahead. I want you to tell us about this because I know you sent this over, and I don't know if Madison's going to share, but go ahead. I want you to do this one because this is your buddies over at Lumos.
Yeah. So here's some thoughts I have. Okay.
Yeah.
What have losses been over the past 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Brutally low. Okay. So when you start seeing it's 38% higher, 38% higher of a
From
small
where?
number
Yep.
isn't really, it's almost,
Yeah.
it's like our news cycle, right? It's trying to create a little bit of fear. Are we going to have more an increase in losses? The answer is yes. We all know that. Interest rates have done that. The business environment's changed. It's going to be a challenge. Is it going to be absolutely crazy? No, we're not where we are in 2007. We're not any of that. But I do want to share, facts are facts. Yes, technically it is 38% higher. But just really keep an eye on that to really make sure that you've got some loan loss reserves and that you're trying to make the best decision possible, which I know that we all are as good stewards of the program.
Well, it's kind of similar. You know how I look at this is think about our houses, right? And mortgage rates for houses and how high they used to be. And people were just used to it, right? They were used to it. But then after they drop and they crash and burn and whatnot, and they go low, then we get used to that. So then it goes back to where it previously was. All of a sudden, it's like this, oh my God, everything is so huge. And it's like, look back. It's truly not. We just had a moment, a period there. It's no, it's the cycle. It's the cycle. So
it's the circle of life.
Circle of life, circle of lending. Yeah, ask to be of service and ask for a hamburger, as Paul would say. Absolutely. Well, I guess that's all that we've got for you guys today. I mean, the fee thing was a big deal. It truly was a big deal when you really think about it. But anyway, if you want the news as soon as it breaks, you can watch us live on YouTube or LinkedIn as it breaks, because we are live currently, right? Or get caught up on any of your streaming locations, because we're going to be there as well. And if you've got something to talk about, please send us an email or comment or whatever. I mean, you can do it on our pages on LinkedIn or whatnot, or you can also send an email to the SBA today at artofsba.com. Paul always laughs at me because I love to mix that one up sometimes, but I got it right this time. So, anyway, and don't forget our other family of podcasts, which is Art of SBA Lending and BDO Show, because we love for you to check them out as well. We all have something different to say, something different to share, and it's all relevant.
That's right.
Of course. We just like to entertain.
That's right.
Anyway, have a great day, guys.
Thanks. See ya.